would show you my travel grid. I decided to make it because when I think about what I want out of life, like the very top of the list is just travel. I want to see everything. I want to go everywhere. I want to feel the vibe of all the different places. So why not make a grid? I put together a grid for traveling, and the main idea behind it was a grid of manifesting what I want. And I put in stones for each individual place that I want to travel to, which I feel like gave it another whole layer, which was just really cool. If you like these gridding videos, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up and make sure you hit the subscribe button to be notified of all of my future gridding videos. There will be a lot of them. So let's just get into it. All right, guys, so this is the plate that I'm going to be using to make the grid on. It is on a little bit of a stand, so I just like that it sits up. I decided to put it on this plate and I move it around on this plate in 2 different areas of the house. I've had this one for a long time. So in the middle of this grid, we are going to use this selenite sphere, and I really like selenite in a grid because it has that quality of keeping everything else cleansed and charged. So it's a really good thing to have in here. I also find it to be very high vibrational and powerful. I mean, look how beautiful this thing is. Like, sorry for the ring light reflection in it, but other than that, just look at all the glow and natural beauty in this thing. It's so cleansing and clearing, and it has a lot of power in it. And spheres are a great thing to use in the middle of a grid. And I'm just using this little, I think it's like a cap to something, just to hold this right in the middle so it doesn't roll around. You can use a lot of random stuff for sphere stands. One thing a lot of people like bedazzling is the inside of a Scotch tape holder. When it's all out, you can like bedazzle the outside of it and use that as a sphere stand. These 2 pieces of honey calcite really inspired me when I saw them to make a grid. And I think that's what started this whole thing, actually, because they just look like 2 pieces of the same thing that broke apart. I mean, not literally, they don't fit together, but it just looks like 2 pieces, like 2 different wings of something. So when I saw these, I knew I had to have them, and I really wanted to put them in a grid, like on 2 sides of something, just like this. So that's what we're gonna do here. So since these 2 honey calcites are right here, I wanted to put something else large-ish right here. So I am going to use these 2 points that I have. This is actually the first Lemurian crystal that I ever got. I'm very attached to this thing. It has a lot of power in it, and I am just gonna put it right there. And then this is just another clear quartz point that I have. I think I bought this one because it has this cool past life window in it. But it also has a bunch of kind of trigonic things on the sides, but none on the top. I don't know, it's a pretty cool crystal. I'm just gonna put it on the opposite side over here. You want, even though these are different, you just want a balance. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to balance the energy. In my opinion, garnet is like the manifestation stone. So I think it's a great idea to use garnets in grids. And this one is a little bit more actually like faceted. And this one is a tumbled garnet. And I know it's hard to tell, but when you put light on a garnet, you can see all of the beautiful red cracks and rainbows in it. Do you see that now? There's a good shot of garnet under light. So pretty, right? So I'm gonna put these on both sides of the selenite. And this is actually where we're gonna build most of our stuff, right up and down this line. So the next thing I want to use in here is an orange celestial. Orange celestials are a little bit rarer and harder to find, but they are supposed to open the way to necessary change. which may be abrupt, but I feel like putting this in a grid, if anything does need to change, then of course you want it to change. And it's also supposed to give you hope and help you see beyond limitations. So, a lot of times with grids, it's not just about making things happen, but it's about making you able to make changes and take action to get what you want. So, you have to think about that when you're picking out stones too. I am just going to put this right up here. This is called a Centimani stone. And if you are familiar with moldavite, if you're not, please go watch my video. It's a really cool stone. I got into Centimani stone because of moldavite. I heard about it in a moldavite group and I just got super curious about it. And it's a tektite, a lot like moldavite. It's different. I don't know how to explain it. When I first picked it up, it had the energy of like cold darkness, almost like death. I remember thinking that. And that sounds really creepy, but I think it was more about a void. It was the void. It was just open space, like just open space ready for possibility of whatever you want to put in it. And these are pretty cool if you backlight them. They're kind of like see-through gray. And I just thought this was like interesting, and it has a strange power. It's making me very out of breath even just holding it and talking to you about it. I'm actually going to tuck this in before the garnet. I don't know why. I just want it right here on the selenite. It's like right in there. You can just barely see it there. And then the garnet, the orange celestial. Oh, I am out of breath. So let's build down this side. I am going to do this natural citrine point. Natural citrine. So I've talked about this in a video before, but this is an example of heat treated amethyst, which is sold as citrine in most places. And this is a piece of natural citrine. So you can see here the color variation, and hopefully you can also see the really cool phantoms in this. This thing is just beautiful. But a lot of people have really strong opinions about heat-treated amethyst as citrine. A lot of the magic of crystals is color therapy. And so the bright orange sparkle of citrine is a very, very different energy than amethyst. It just is. So I am going to put this point, it's a generator, it's flat on the bottom, so I'm going to stand it up right here. On the other side of this citrine point, I am going to use moldavite. Moldavite, I love. It has a lot of power in it. When you backlight moldavite, it's this crazy beautiful green color. The moldavite I am going to put right here. Okay, this is a pink Lemurian point that I have here, and I'm just going to finish off this side by placing it right here by the moldavite. And then on the other side, I'm going to put this citrine point just right at the top of my orange celestial here. And this kind of like goes off the plate and stands up a little bit, which I love because I feel like that's a really good flow for energy. Now I'm going to go in with some sphene. Sphene is a very interesting crystal. These are very small and they should be very light, and physically they are very light. Energetically, they have this weight to them. I feel like they're so much heavier than they should be, but physically they're not heavier. I know that doesn't make any sense. I find these to just have a lot of power in them. I choose to put these in a grid for a power boost, if you will. So I'm going to put one on each side of both of these clear quartz points that we have in here. Okay. Whew. This whole grid is making me out of breath now. Now we have some points over here that we're going to put in eventually.
But this is where I picked individual stones for individual places that I want to travel. And then I chose to just place them around the grid in the empty spaces. So this is a piece of polychrome jasper that just reminds me of Hawaii. I think it's because this looks like the ocean and like coral. So this stone represents me traveling to Hawaii. And I am just going to put it right here. This is a piece of quartz that has the tiniest piece of blue tourmaline on it. Do you see that? So I figured white and blue, that looks like Greece to me. So this represents a trip to Greece. And it is going to go right here. This is a piece of jade, and this just looks like Thailand to me. So this is for a trip to Thailand. This is a piece of impact glass that came from out west here in the US. My brother took a trip out there years ago and he brought back a lot of this impact glass from the desert for me. So this to me represents going to Sedona. I'm very called to go to Sedona. So this is just a little, I don't know if this is a Herkimer or just like, I'm pretty sure I bought this as a Herkimer. And to me, this is representing Mount Shasta. It's just another place that's calling me. A lot of these are like spiritual places that I just read a lot about and I just feel very drawn to go there. And then this is just a random piece of shell, but shells have power too. And this represents Bali to me. Bali is at the top of my list. I need to go there. I'm so called to go there. So this is for Bali. And now we just have 4 large points and 2 small ones that we are going to put around the edges here, wherever we feel like we need them. I actually feel like right here in the middle is a good place to bring some of this energy out. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so out of breath. That feels really nice and balanced. And actually, I'm just going to put these little ones in the middle. Beautiful and perfect. I think so. Here is the grid that we created today. Here is maybe a little bit of a better view of the grid for you guys, just close up, and I can kind of move it around a little bit too. So you see how we have the straight line going through here. We have everything balanced from side to side. So even though this isn't like an extreme geometrical grid, it still has balance. It still has order to it. It's kind of all over the place, but at the same time, I feel like it's this beautiful work of art. I really hope you guys enjoyed making that grid with me, or remaking that grid with me, I guess. Sometimes I leave grids up all the time, and sometimes I take them down. I feel like if you put the intention out that you're going to take it down, but you still want it to be like working, it still is going to work. And I just really love this little grid and I don't want to take it apart. I just, like I said, I have it on this plate so I can move it around a lot. It's lived in our bedroom before. Right now it lives on a tray above my bathtub. It has like wonderful natural light in there and plants, and there's really good energy in there there's like a nice energy flow. So I think it's a good place to have it. It lived on my desk for a little bit. It lived on my main crystal table for a little bit. I just love how easy it is to move around. So maybe experiment with making a grid on a plate or some kind of flat surface that you can move around a little bit and see if you like keeping a grid up for a longer amount of time. I would love to know if you guys are going to try this, if you are going to specifically make a travel grid. I want to know if I want to know everything. I want to know where you want to go. I want to know if you're going to use individual stones for places like I did, or if you're just going to make a general I want to travel grid. That would be cool too. I love hearing what other people are doing. So please make sure you let me know down below. I love reading all of your comments and experiences. Grids absolutely work, guys, and I know this. So right now it is currently January 17th. I'm losing track. I did a New Year's gridding video, and I built this grid maybe like a week before New Year's Eve. And I knew I wanted to keep it up over New Year's Eve. I wanted to keep it up that night and a couple of days after. That's just what I had in my head. And it was right here in our living room. It took up a lot of room. It was a large grid. And I remember telling Ryan, like, I'm sorry this is all over in our way, but I need this to stay up until a couple of days after New Year's. And then I'll take it down. I just needed it to get like over that hump of the new year, and kind of like, if one chapter's ending and you're closing it, you want the next chapter to be open while this thing is here. I don't know how to explain it. I just knew I needed it sitting there. You guys, on New Year's Eve, I started feeling it at like 10:30, but after midnight, I felt my life changing. And less than 3 days later, I was proved right. My New Year's grid literally pushed me out of my comfort zone. But if it wouldn't have done that, nothing in my New Year's grid could have come to fruition. I'm working on making a video about all of that, but it's going to be very difficult for me. So I don't know when that's going to come out. Like, I believe in this stuff, obviously, and I feel like I've even said this exact thing before. Obviously, I believe in this stuff, but when you see things come true, it's always a little bit like, whoa, like that's pretty cool, right? So if you are curious about that story, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. Thank you so much for watching today, everyone. Don't forget to share this with your friends if they're trying to learn about crystals, and I will see you next time. Have a really great day.